Yeah, I'm back. Yes, I am. Had to come back because it seems like there's a lot of confusion going on around here. Seems like there's a lot of people running their mouths and don't really know what they're talking about. You know, down here in these streets, I do this thing called Xbox. I don't just salute the flag, I wear the jersey. People like me enjoy talking gaming. Before there was any platform, before there was any gamer scores, before there was any record books, there was buttons to push, controllers to be made, screens to be seen, experiences to be felt, and performances to be done. When it was all said and done, you left your initials in the top 10 sections, you got out of there and you went home. That's my legacy. Gaming made me who I am today. Not a YouTube channel, not social media, none of these gaming article journalisms and all this other stuff. I'm not social media made. I'm a gamer from the bottom of the gutters of the mud. There's nowhere that I've been that I haven't connected myself or my name to gaming. I used to run gaming tournaments. I was involved in gaming tournaments. I was in the top 10 of Gears of War 3 in the world. Ain't nobody. I'm self-made when it comes to being a gamer. I rep the Xbox community. You can rep what you want to rep, but I rep the Xbox community. I'm proud of it. It's a great community to represent, and that's what I do. There's no mediums here. There's no catering here. There's no neutral here. Listen, it's about respect, right? But also it's about respect of the craft, the knowledge. It's about telling the truth. It's always been that way. We've been doing this since we were little kids, all right? Talking, gaming. This is simple. Either you're gaming or you're not. Anybody can regurgitate news. Anybody. But if you're going to regurgitate news, which is easy to do, at least do it right.
Well, then apparently it's not too easy.
Do it right because you're copying. That's nothing. Copying stuff down don't mean you know what you're talking about. We did that in school. I don't know what it is. I'm looking over at my man's paper and I'm going to write down what he wrote down. I see a lot of that going on right now. So there's a lot of things that got to be corrected. Look, nobody is above approach and nobody is above correction. Nobody. I stand humble. I go by the name of the new legal. I got Six Slayer, my man Eli the Realist, joining me today. Shout outs to the whole entire Xbox community because it's going down. We're going to stop all that nonsense and all that confusion today on today's show. It's about to get real. Welcome everybody to Di-RRec Gaming. The streets is here. We're here, people, and I'm hyped. Thanks to all those that support this channel. Keep subscribing. Hit that like button. Do what you got to do. Y'all know what's up, man. I ain't got to keep telling y'all like we're robots and stuff. Either you like it or you don't, but that's not what pushes us here. We push here because we're passionate and because we love talking about gaming. But more than that, we love representing the Xbox community at its best. We are the echo chambers of the streets of the Xbox community. We hear y'all loud and clear. We know the language and we're here to speak it. We're not here to be lukewarm. We're not lukewarm. I'm not here to pander your feelings. All right? It's not what I'm here for. So we're going to get to it, right? Legal, let's get to it. There wasn't no such thing as the PlayStation 5 coming out in 2019. That never was a such thing. That's based off of rumors and people that don't know what they're talking about. That's invalid. We don't run off of stuff like that. We run off of facts and truths. So how can it be 2019 when Sony didn't declare that? You're not going to find nowhere where Sony said the PlayStation 5 was coming out in 2019. Nowhere. You're not going to find that nowhere. That's not the claim. But this article that I got, and no, I'm not telling y'all where I got it at. Do your research. All right? I'm not even telling you to believe me because that's not how true gamers do. Don't believe me. Don't believe me. Do your own research. All right? That's how you learn. Sources. This article was done June the 12th of 2018. Sources. AMD created Navi for Sony's PlayStation 5. Vega suffered. This is the reason why things flip-flop. It wasn't because PlayStation saw, or Sony with PlayStation saw the specs of Microsoft and, oh, no, we got to change what we're doing. Nobody saw the specs of Xbox. Come on, y'all think. We didn't even know the X was dropping. Remember? It dropped out of heaven on the Game Awards and shocked the whole entire world. So how is it that that was a shock? But all of a sudden, we coming up with theories that Sony saw the specs and they changed it up. You would like for that to be true. But the true story to that was, like I said, Vega suffered. They went with a new chip called Navi. Microsoft and AMD made that big partnership, and the brakes were on halt. That's what stopped Sony from progressing with the PlayStation 5 when it was Vega that they were going to go with. Because you remember, Six Slayer, I mentioned that previous shows. What was it? The Polaris and the Vega was what they were going to push.
Yeah.
So here goes the article. No, Sony didn't counter Microsoft with a brief announcement of the PlayStation 5 at its annual E3 event, but some fascinating details has emerged about the PlayStation 5. Its graphics solution and just how involved in the process AMD was this time around. This isn't just a story for eager console gamers either. It's part of a larger narrative about AMD's identity and its system custom chip business. Speaking to industry sources this week, under conditions of course, anonymity, I've learned that the PlayStation 5 will use both AMD Zen and Navi graphic architectures. So we see that this person that's talking has spoke the truth. What isn't clear is whether the PlayStation 5 will incorporate a beefy SoC system of chip or use separate Ryzen and Navi based components. That was what wasn't clear. All right? That's what wasn't clear. But the fact that Sony all of a sudden saw what Microsoft did and changed their direction, it's not true. So right now, little is known about AMD's Navi graphics architecture other than the fact that it will use a 7nm process. That's correct.
Yep. This
that
is always
detail,
known.
however, is important, as it has done numerous times with its semi-custom clients. AMD has a solid history of developing integrated discrete GPUs with low power envelopes, perfect for a console. That's correct. Which brings to us, in my eyes, the more interesting revelation. According to my sources, Navi isn't just inside the Sony PlayStation 5. Check this out. It was created for Sony.
That was always what people thought. Yep.
The vast majority of AMD and Sony's Navi collaboration took place while Raja Kaduri, Radeon Technologies Group boss and chief architect, was at AMD. Kaduri joined with the Intel late last year as chief architect for its new core and visual computing group. But the collaboration came at the expense of Radeon RX Vega and other in developed projects. See, this movement caused Vega to not work out. Allegedly, Kadura sold to massive $2 to 3 of his engineering team devoted exclusively to Navi against his wishes, which resulted in a final RX Vega product. Kaduri was displeased with the resources and engineering hours were much lower than anticipated. As I mentioned in my companion report, and shout out to the chat room, it's going to be hard for me to follow y'all, but they see y'all today. I'm going in, I'm making this show, I'm bombing, and I'm getting out of here. As I mentioned in my companion report, the implication is that AMD CEO Dr. Lisa Su wanted to devote more energy into the semi-custom business than its desktop graphic division. So as you can see, there's some division going on in AMD. Take it as a celerity piece of news. This may sound borderline ridiculous, but when zooming out to a wider angle, as I did today, analyzing AMD's history of consumer graphic products and its semi-custom business, it fits like a glove. The same sources who spoke to me about the PlayStation 5 had more to say about AMD's business motivations with Apple, Microsoft, and Sony in the link below. Beyond that, RX Vega has failed to find traction in the market. Now you know why it did not come true. AMD launched its Frontier edition of Vega that was confusing, hybrid between professional graphics and gaming. This was done before its dedicated RX gaming version to satisfy a promise that Vega would reach consumers within a deadline at AMD had promised. Pull on that thread and it sheds more light because this gets good, y'all.
Oh,
this gets good. That's why I can't stop too much.
Oh, pause for a second. You need to post that link in the chat for us all to see too.
Post everything when I'm done. Don't worry.
All right, gotcha.
People think I'm just if you think I'm just reading this and I'm that smart, well, thank you. But pull on that thread, and it sheds more light on Vega's troubled development, due to the majority of Kaduri's engineering team being swiped away, not just to work on Navi, but to work on Navi for Sony. Okay? On a related note, a new rumor emerged recently about Navi for desktop. Now watch this, being merely a mid-range part and not competing with NVIDIA's high-end GeForce cards. That makes perfect sense if we was developed primarily for a console first.
And they truly didn't. I can tell you in hindsight, it didn't.
Here's where it gets interesting. On a relative note, the other interesting aspect to all of this is that my sources never mentioned Microsoft in the Navi conversations. This pure speculation. Maybe Microsoft's next Xbox devices, codenamed Scarlet, won't use Navi at all. Listen to that. Listen to that. Nobody knew anything about what Microsoft was doing. And even in this article, they're doubting that they're even going with Navi. How wrong were they? Watch this. Perhaps it will use a separate semi-custom solution incorporating Vega. Wow, they were way off. Or something else entirely that we're not privy to. Either way, the conversations I've had referred to Navi in the past tense as if it was already finished. Perhaps Sony is closer to a PlayStation 5 than Microsoft is to the next generational Xbox. Funny, right? I've reached out to AMD and Sony for any further comments or clarification. An earlier version of this article incorrectly stated that Sony will incorporate AMD's 14-nanometer Zen Plus 2 cores. Really? All that's currently known is that Sony is working with AMD Zen microarchitectures to make improvements to Sony's compiler. Facts. This is exactly why the PlayStation 5 only has certain features. You just read it right there. Now, I'm moving along. Bear with me. I wanted to get that one out of the way. So, here we go. June 14, 2018. Report AMD built Navi for Sony. PlayStation 5 delayed Vega to do it. So the articles are out. It's not like articles didn't put this out. So if they put this out, how's people bugging? If the chips ain't even done yet, how can the console come out in 2019? You don't make sense. Now watch this. It gets crazier. right? June 11, 2018. The PlayStation 5 is powered by Navi in 2020. AMD's making Navi with Sony input. The PlayStation 5 will feature next-gen Navi GPU technology. Should also feature Zen CPU cores. Correct. You see how certain people get it and certain people don't? Now, let's speed it up. Navi inside of the PlayStation is still a mystery in terms of what to expect and GPU horsepower. But I do not know AMD put a lot of RTG engineers onto the job. AMD has put more eggs into this semi-custom business over the years, with Sony as a major customer of theirs for the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 4 Pro. And now Sony's calling a lot of the shots with the Navi development. So you see that the hiccups was not an AMD thing. What they put in, what they put out wasn't an AMD thing. It's all Sony. Everything that's happening to this console is all Sony. Sony is calling the shots. Sony needs the next-gen PlayStation 5 to truly drive a 4K 60 frames per second if it's going to be released. Now watch this. This was what? In 2018. Listen to the projection. If it's going to be released in 2020 through 2022, the new legal was correct all along. That's why I said it came out too early. I said the console should have came out in late 2021 or early 2022. It would have been okay. But no, it had to come out 2020. Watch this. Where 4K will be greatly established at that time. And in a world where NVIDIA has had at least a couple of generations of its new big format gaming display TVs hit the market. So this is what they're thinking about. Speed it up. Get in my notes. Let's speed this up. Now it's going to get funny. All right. We move up. No, that's too far up. Let's make it. Here we go. Let's get real cheesy now. As the years go by, we get the drop of the Xbox Series X, right? Boom. Everybody's like, when is it coming out? It shows when it's coming out. All right. Holiday 2020. We're like, yeah, we getting one of them. Got enough time. Sony's still quiet. Why is Sony still quiet? So Bloomberg comes around. Sony reduces PlayStation 5's production by 4 million units. Is that a true or is that a lie? Inquiring minds want to know. Sony won't be making as many PlayStation 5 units as anticipated, thanks to production troubles. Really? According to Bloomberg Japan. What? What did you say, Legal? According to a Bloomberg Japan article. Now, this is going to be funny, right? Because I'm going to drop some names here. Takashi Makazuki, and cited by industry analyst, yours your boy, Daniel Amai. I know y'all ain't going to argue with that. So you got Daniel Amai running around in these streets. Sony has revised its PlayStation 5 production estimates for the current fiscal year, ending in March of 2021, down to 11 million units, a drop of 4 million from the previous target of 15 million. We know this to be true. Now watch this. The PlayStation production drop is attributed to issues arising from the new console's SoCs, system on chip, that resulted in lower than expected yields. Lower yields at the SoC level means that the rate of production for new PlayStation 5 consoles slows down, as the SoC is essentially the heart of the device. Now, mind you, COVID hasn't hit yet. When all this was going on, y'all claiming 2019. Remember, listen to what y'all saying. 2019. So what y'all are telling me is they've had production for the PlayStation 5. They were working on it. The dev kits were already there in 2019. Y'all ain't making no sense. But even if that was happening, You're admitting that Sony already had production available, ready to go. But that couldn't have been the case. But yes, it is, because they had these things in their manufacturing warehouse before COVID hit. So they can't use COVID as an excuse. Now you get it? They tried to. Remember when they tried to, but they tried to for the dummies. The ones who were watching them, the ones that went follow them, didn't fall for the okie doke. This situation was going on before COVID hit. Remember, before COVID hit. COVID didn't really start kicking off until March and April of last year.
Yeah, E3 was canceled at the last moment, like seemingly at the last moment.
Production yields issues are common when it comes to new devices and tech, as manufacturers test out new machinery, refine their processes, and adapt to the conditions on the ground. Latter, as processes are improved, yields will go up and production costs drop. Oftentimes, device makers will use the opportunity to issue updated hardware containing the fruit of the improvements. Now, listen to what they say. Ahmad was quick to point out. He was quick to point out the new development in perspective, noting that in July of 2020, when PlayStation 5 production started, the rate was initially much higher than the PlayStation 4s at the same point in lifespan. The yield issues merely brought down the rate to get closer to the PlayStation 4 level. Therefore, with the volumes of PlayStation 5 consoles available at launch, at the first few months are unlikely to be affected. Listen to that lie. See that? You see the lie? Therefore, while the volumes of PlayStation 5 consoles available at launch and the first few months are unlikely to be affected, the issues may constrain supply further into 2021. So you say. So here's Daniel Mott. He thinks he's slick, right? On Twitter. He'll block everybody around it.
I think it's Ahmed.
He'll block everybody around because he's a weakling. He likes to make some statements, but he don't like to stand on his 10 toes. When the heat comes up on him to gut check him, he's not one of them. All right? But what he doesn't know is certain articles expose him anyway, like this one. Daniel Ahmad, as I noted earlier today, Sony will use air freight to meet demand this holiday and ship as many units as possible in their launch period. Notice he's a gatekeeper for PlayStation, so he does a very good job. Production of PlayStation 5 started in July this year. The full thread has additional details and answers to questions. All right, here he goes again. Here's the best way to think of the above. PlayStation 5's first 6 months production initially much higher than the PlayStation 4. Now, due to yield issues, production for the PlayStation 5 is slightly higher than PlayStation 4. So there will be still more supply than PlayStation 4 at launch. But the real question is, how high is the demand? Doing all this talking, ain't it? So watch this. This isn't the first time Sony has shifted its PlayStation 5 production targets in 2020. In April, right when COVID was becoming a thing, right? Sony expected to limit its output to just 5 to 6 million units for the first year. Then it revised the target upward in July to meet the boost of demand. Now watch this. Brought on by global COVID-19 pandemic, just like I said. They switched it up in July because now COVID was official. And as Amadi mentions, the big question at this point is less about Sony's ability to produce PlayStation 5s, but the public's desire for a new console when it becomes available. That demand may hinge on the system's ultimate price and release date, which might be broadcast at the PlayStation 5 Showcase event on September the 16th, 2020. Fast forward. Watch this. Watch this. PlayStation 5 production woes could hurt your chances of buying the console. Watch this. Update, September the 15th. Sony denied the Bloomberg report that said the company's reduced its PlayStation 5 production expectation by 4 million units. This is going to get good today. Walk with me. Talk with me. Walk with me, talk with me, Xbox community. Your boy does this. I don't do that YouTube social media bull crap. I don't do that touchy feeling, neutrality, oh, I'm getting with your feelings, oh, I'm afraid that you ain't gonna like me no more. You
The
won't
facts don't care about your feelings.
This ain't that.
The facts don't care about your feelings.
Way before this. This is what we do. This is what gamers do. We've always talked. We always talk gaming. We always did this. That's just what it is. Watch this, y'all. It gets good. Because watch the ending of this. I'm building up this climax up, right? Y'all know how it is. You get the first, you get the beginning, you get the theme, you get the subject of the story, and then you build it up for the ultimate climax, the grand finale, right? That's where this is going. Now look how good this is. Because remember, I told y'all, when all this was going down, you can go on Twitter and you can find Sony actually denying it on Twitter, unless they took it down. Unless they got too proud, got too scary and took it down, it's still up there. But we got them right here. We got them right here. PlayStation production. Sony said that they denied Bloomberg, Japan. I want to say that because you see how they just say Bloomberg as if Bloomberg, they just want you to think it's just any Bloomberg.
Yeah, Bloomberg America, who may not know when Bloomberg Japan would know more exactly.
Right, exactly. This is why they talk for the dummy, right? Denied by a Bloomberg report. No, it wasn't just a Bloomberg report. It was Bloomberg Japan, the ones that were there in the country reporting it. That said the company reduced its PlayStation 5 production expectation by 4 million units. The console maker didn't provide any specific figures, only stating that the report was false. You see how they did that? See how Bloomberg called them off? They said, yo, we said what we saw, but y'all going to say we're lying, but you don't have the numbers to back us up. So Bloomberg is basically saying, okay, we're lying. Prove to everybody we're lying. So watch this. While we do not release details related to manufacturing, the information provided by Bloomberg is false. That's Sony told Game Industry Biz. We have not changed the production number for PlayStation 5 since the start of the mass production. Oh, really? Oh, really? Watch this. They talking big right now. Chest all out, right? Chest all out, talking big, just like they were talking big about generations. Sony is expected to reveal the price and release date of the PlayStation 5 at its showcase this Wednesday. But those already keen on buying the next generational console should contain their excitement. Sony has reportedly lowered PlayStation 5 production expectations from 16 million units to 11 million units until the end of March, according to Bloomberg report. The 4 million unit reduction was reportedly caused by production issues with the customized system on chip, SoC. As you can see, Bloomberg ain't letting off on the report. Now, mind you, even remember, I got to make y'all go back because gamers do this. I do this, y'all. Remember, when the show hit, I had my homeboy. I told y'all about it. I did a video about it from Oklahoma. I was at work. He called me because he had got off from break. Remember, and you and Eli can attest, Xbox chat, you can attest that I'm not lying on this. Everybody that was watching that show, what did PlayStation do? They okey doke their own community live, on live, YouTube. They had already put out the pre-orders, just like I read, remember? The pre-orders were back right there. My boy had pre-ordered his PlayStation 5. But what did they do? They was like, oh no. They shut it down during the show. Remember that? Told everybody, go to your local stores. Pre-order it right now. You got 30 minutes.
Yeah, it was supposed to be tomorrow.
Is new.
Remember it was supposed to be the next day. It was supposed to be the next day, and then all of a sudden, bloop. Boom. And they say that it was Walmart that did.
It was Walmart.
It was Walmart, but Sony could have still stopped it.
Walmart can't make a move without Sony's go ahead.
Right, so Sony approved it. That's the proof right there.
That's the proof. Now, you heard it. Nobody's
and then right after they did it, everybody else followed.
Yep, everybody else followed, exactly, because it was too late.
Why was it Walmart? Because Walmart is the biggest retail store / grocery store in the world. That's why. And if the blame could be shifted to Walmart, everybody else going to follow.
Yep.
Because Walmart's the grand champ. So my boy was at Best Buy. He comes in there. Did not know that he had been juked from his own show. He sat there and watched them, dude, in reality time. He was like, what is going on? They went outside. They put up the banners. They talking about pre-orders are open now. And he was like, hey, I'm trying to put mine down right now. And they was like, sorry, sir. It's too late because we've got the call that for 30 minutes, the pre-orders were going to be open. He says, what do you mean? They just told us earlier, the day before, to come in. He was like, yeah, we just got news. We don't know where it came from. We just got news. Our managers told us, look, got to open up pre-orders. It was like an hour ago. He was like, what? So he called
somebody messed up at Walmart.
Dude, he called me up mad, talking about, I've never been used like this by Sony. I'm not buying the PlayStation 5. He was so mad, dude. I've never been used like this. He was like, dude, I found out that they shut us down and did it during the show. I was like, are you serious, dude?
Oh, yeah. And the rabbit hole gets a little bit deeper, too, because, my boy, 108 Dragons TV, and, at 6 o'clock, we're going to be doing the show. He put the video up on Twitter because he has to connect over at GameStop, right? Because immediately after this whole Walmart debacle happened, everybody else opened up, and he put out the word for GameStop that GameStop is taking pre-orders now, and if you want it, you better go right now. In minutes, it was gone from GameStop and everybody else. It was a mad dash. Within an hour, it was all done from everybody.
This happened in real time.
That is FOMO, Manuel. That's right.
We're not making this up. FOMO. This happened in real time. Okay. So now, the company had initially increased production in July in an attempt to accommodate the increased demand for gaming hardware caused by the coronavirus pandemic, which the coronavirus pandemic gave it a perfect excuse. But mind you, that the issue had already happened before it. However, the SoC yields as low as 50%, and other issues have hurt Sony's ability to ship as many PlayStation 5s as intended. So note that they said that. Even though the COVID is out, that's not all. The 50% of these daggum consoles are messed up. But watch what they say. Things are getting back on track for Sony as yields are improving. However, production has not yet hit a stable level. Okay, so we're not even going to get into the prices. We got the prices. We know how much both those consoles cost. So we're going to speed it up. All right? Watch this. This is funny. Let's go in Japan. We're not going to leave Japan out, right? Because Japan is a major, major player in the heartbeat of Sony. What did Sony do to cause so much turmoil in Japan? Note from previous show yesterday to now, there's a connection. For the first time in Sony's history, none of their games are in the top 30. None. The PlayStation 5 isn't selling at all. It's a disaster over there. This is the first time. Look, out of all their consoles, the PlayStation 5 is the worst. It's the worst. This is why you don't hear all of a sudden now these gaming journalists speaking about Japan. Remember all last year? Oh, Japan this and Japan that. Japan this and Japan that. Because they wanted to keep y'all blind on what was really going on in Japan. Sony was making their exit out of Japan. Now look at this. New report. Sony Japan has been sidelined from PlayStation 5's launch. A new report claimed. And we're going to get to that word sideline. Because that word means a lot of things in different cultures. Developed staff are said to have been reduced as PlayStation places importance on the U.S. market. Sony is going west, y'all. Giddy up. Sony's home territory of Japan has been sidelined and promotional planning for PlayStation 5 and seen its development team slashed as the corporation places more importance on the U.S. market. That's according to a new report by, guess who? Bloomberg, which claims that the PlayStation 4's disappointing performance in Japan. What, Legal? What did you just say? You're talking crazy, Legal. All we heard last year was Japan this, Japan that when it came to them PlayStation sales. But now, as usual, when all the smoke is clear, when all the mirrors are broken, the truth comes out about Sony and its PlayStation brand. According to a new report by Bloomberg, which claims that the PlayStation 4's disappointing performance in Japan, as well as PlayStation's decision to move its headquarters to California in 2016, has seen its input significantly reduced for its latest console. PlayStation's North America arm, Sony Interactive Entertainment America, has seen its influence grow significantly in the past 4 years. Following the platform holders' push towards a centralized global structure. Here it goes. The process resulted in a significant number of layoffs across its European operation during the past 18 months as leadership shifted to California. Sideline. They cooned, they owned. They cooned, they're owned. This is why you saw Jim Ryan take over and all the Japanese guys step down. Jim Ryan represents the new American order. So when you, quote unquote, sideline your own people, you sell out your own culture, what do you expect your people to do? How do you expect your people to react towards you? That's what's going on. I can only say it in its realest form. According to Bloomberg sources inside PlayStation's San Amateo headquarters, the U.S. office was frustrated by Japan's marketing for PlayStation 4. Look at all of this. What?
That's a common thread throughout gaming history. Same thing happened to Sega.
I was just finna say that, Sick. You jumping. This is so true. Check, Sick. Amen, brother. Watch this. It's a common thing that goes on with the Japanese and the American associations within each other. How did Sega fall apart? It had nothing to do with Sony. Had nothing to do with Nintendo. It fell apart because the America of Sega could not get help from the Japanese Sega corporations. They were hating on each other. So now you see that the same thing was been going on with PlayStation. But the reason why you didn't know about it, because PlayStation is better at covering up. They cover up for years, but it comes out. It still comes out, but Sony always bets on the fact that in 5 or 6 years, they'll all forget. And when the news come out, they're not going to think about it. So you say, Sony. So you say. So
it's a different age. It's a different age now. You know, info is coming out quicker and people are not forgetting. People are not forgetting.
Facts. According to Bloomberg sources inside PlayStation's Santa Mateo headquarters, the U.S. office was frustrated by Japan's marketing for PlayStation 4. But if you listen to the gaming journalist gatekeepers, y'all would have thought, woo, PlayStation 4 was just the best thing going, right? That's why you don't pay attention to these clowns out here. They sell the PlayStation better than Sony can. Just remember that. We've been saying that for years. Sony can't sell the PlayStation. The gaming journalisms do that. Metacritic does it. They hype all that stuff up and give you bread with no meat, no lettuce. They just give you bread, slap mayonnaise on it, and tell you to go about your business. Which believes that fewer consoles being sold compared to its predecessor, around 10 million units. As a result, Japan has been sidelined and planning the PlayStation 5 promotion, according to several Japanese PlayStation staff cited by Bloomberg. Employees in Tokyo said they've been left awaiting instructions from California, it claimed. The U.S. office critical view of the Japanese operation has also impacted its gaming development efforts, it's claimed. Sony Japan Studio, which co-developed games such as Bloodborne, Astro's Playroom, and The Last Guardian, has seen the rolling contracts of many of its creators not renewed, former employees reportedly told Bloomberg. The Japan-based developer support teams have also been reduced by as much as a third from their peak, it claimed. The U.S. office believes the PlayStation business does not need games that only do well in Japan, employees in the California headquarters reportedly said. Responding to the Bloomberg report, Sony spokesman Natsumi Atarashi said our home market remains the utmost importance and claimed that any suggestion Sony was shifting its focus away from Japan was incorrect and doesn't reflect the company's strategy. So you say. Speaking to VGC's network partners, at gaming industry biz last year. Here he comes, Sony Interactive Entertainment CEO Jim Ryan. The legendary Jim Ryan comes up, insisted that the company was not becoming Americanized, really, but following its centralization in California. Really? Ryan claimed the new look organization had been designed to be more efficient ahead of the PlayStation 5 launch in 2020. I really want to reinforce the point that globalization does not mean Americanization or vice versa, he said. Becoming global organization does not in any way, shape, or form mean becoming an American organization. I'm living proof of that. Doesn't that? Oh, man. Boy, you got to love the coon. You know what? They make it seem like we don't see coon activity. That's coon activity. Let me show y'all what coon activity is.
The coon.
Here's coon activity. Yo, listen, I'm not a racist. I have black friends. Look, I wouldn't have this one black guy in the background of me standing, backing me up. When you look around and there ain't nothing but a bunch of white people behind him. But he's got that one black guy just to prove a point that, look, I'm not racist or, I'm good. But if you're not racist or if you're good with black people in general, you wouldn't even have to have that black dude back there to even validate that. You are what you are. Hyperfane Gaming, shout outs to you, man. You can say Sony Japan was abandoned. Exactly. Now watch this.
Pretty much.
In the past, PlayStation's regional arms were able
Japan Studios gone too.
In the past, PlayStation regional arms were able to act autonomously, signing their own games and setting their own marketing budgets. This allowed regional departments in the US, Europe, and Japan to specifically cater to their own audiences, but also had the downside of creating a disjointed group operation. So see, it was never harmony, which some third-party publishers are said to express frustration with. Look at the truths. Because Sony's divisions couldn't get along, it frustrated third-party developers to work in there. Ryan told GI the nature of AAA PlayStation 4 and certainly PlayStation 5 development were obviously not going to have worldwide studios make a game for one specific European country. And that might have been the case back in the PSP times, which was popular in Spain. But here it goes. I think this will be where Shuei Yoshida's new task will come in, working with the indies they talking about. If we are nimble, flexible, and global, we can work with smaller developers to allow these countries' specific needs to be met. Ryan also told the site, if we are to be successful, we really have to leverage the opportunities that globalization brings. And I am going to give you some examples. One is around the productization of PlayStation 5, the definition of the feature set, of the development of the implementation of those features. That process this time around has been massively more streamlined compared to anything we've done in the past. So you say. The product planners are now having one conversation instead of three different regional conversations, where they needed to reconcile positions that were often conflicted or contradictory. With an endless process of iteration and consensus, that's not happening anymore. We have one conversation and we get on and do stuff. Oh, you say. Watch this, y'all. It's getting the conclusion is coming, right? Watch this. Where is it? Here we go. Woo, this is funny. So after all that's been going on, after all that's been said, and I told y'all I wasn't going to hold y'all up too much today. Shout outs to Six Slayer and Eli, the realest, to hype me up, my two hype men today. And shout outs to the entire Xbox community in the mighty Xbox chat room of Di-RRec Gaming. Shout outs to all of y'all. Look at the conclusion here. All right? Now remember, Sony denied all these allegations. But I'm going to tell you, of May 9, 2021, there's a new whistle being blown. Y'all want to hear that new whistle now? It was good just a week ago. PlayStation warns tight PlayStation 5 supply to extend into next year. What? Sony Group Corp warned a group of analysts the PlayStation 5 will remain in short supply through 2022. What? suggesting the company will be constrained in its ability to boost sale targets for its latest game console. What? While reporting financial results in late April, the Japanese conglomerate said it sold 7.8 million units of the console through March 31st. What? And it is aiming to sell at least 14.8 million units in the current fiscal year. But we learned that they missed their target. Why did they miss their target? Because Bloomberg said half them bad boys didn't make the game, didn't make the roster. That's why. That would keep it on pace to match the trajectory of the popular PlayStation 4, which was sold in excess of 115.9 million units to date. In a briefing after those results, Sony told analysts that it is challenging to keep up with the strong demand. The PlayStation 5 has been difficult to find in stock since its release in November. Really? But you just said that you wouldn't have a problem making sure you meet demands. Remember all that good talk they did? It wasn't going to be a problem. They were going to be able to get all these consoles out. And they had a projection. And don't worry. Don't worry. It's all lies. Really. The PlayStation has been difficult to find in stock since its release in November, in part because of shortages in components such as semiconductors. But I thought there wasn't anything wrong. There's a shortage of components such as semiconductors. And the company hasn't given an official estimate for when it expects supplies to normalize. I don't think demand is calming down this year. And even if we secure a lot more devices and produce many more units of the PlayStation 5 next year, our supply won't be able to catch up with the demand. Chief Financial Officer Hiroki Totoki said at the briefing, according to several people who attended and asked not to be named as it wasn't public. Really, didn't want to be named. Sounds like a lot of confidence. A Sony spokesman.
Hey, do me a favor real quick. Repeat that last line that Hiroki said, please.
Hiroki said that the briefing, okay, here he goes. I don't think demand is calming down this year. And even if we secure a lot of devices and produce many more units of the PlayStation 5 next year, our supply wouldn't be able to catch up with demand.
Okay.
Okay? A Sony spokesman declined to comment. Sony said it will buy back, and they did. They look at this. Sony said it will buy back up to 200 billion yen, which makes 1.8 billion US dollars of its own shares after reporting profit for the March quarter that fell short of analyst estimates. It's forecast that operating profit will slide about 4% in the current fiscal year, but analysts have been weighing whether the company could exceed the conservative outlook with the help of a strong demand for a new console and games. Shares have dropped about 8% since the earnings report of April 28 and rising 75% over the previous year. Totoki told analysts that Sony needs to ramp up production as soon as possible and make sure there are consoles on store shelves. Now, why would you think he would say ramp up production? Production means they have to redo, they have to remake. That means what was already out there has to be redone. We need to put consoles in the manufacturing warehouses. We need to start making some more. Of course you do, because Bloomberg told you that 50% of them were trash. Here we go. We have sold more than 100 million units of the PlayStation 4 and considering our market share a reputation. I can't imagine demand dropping easily, he said. Still, the company's latest earnings report suggests that stay-at-home demand is leveling off. Sony said monthly active users on PlayStation Network fell to 1.9 million in the end of January-March period, from 114 million a quarter earlier. And sales of full games also declined in the period from the year earlier. And then what did we just find out not too long ago? The PlayStation Plus now dropped. Rival Nintendo company warned last week that component shortages could affect production. It's officially targeted sales of 25.5 million consoles in the year ending in March 2022, but down slightly from the previous year. But internally, Nintendo's management is said to be shooting in production between 28 and 29 million consoles, Bloomberg News has reported. So with all that big talk, Sony has confessed that it was not ready. Sony has confessed that production shortages are due to semiconductors and component losses. It's really what Bloomberg reported, but they're just too good to give Bloomberg the credit because Bloomberg spoke too soon. And so now here we are in almost the 10th month, and you're seeing technical difficulties happening with devs working on the PlayStation. And you guys are out here capping, or some of y'all lukewarming or faking for a generalized public due to their feelings. That's weak stuff. That's weak stuff. I'll put the truth out there at any time. It's truth over feelings. It's going to always be the subject point here. This ain't console warring. I never mentioned Xbox was better than PlayStation. I don't have to. I don't have to. You say this list is old? Well, it's called the qualification list. And when you don't have no back compat, no full RDNA 2, smaller storage, you don't have its own SSD expansion external drive. We're talking about its own. Sony don't have its own. It has third parties. You don't have no back compat with PlayStation Plus. You have no 1440p support. DualSense battery lasts for 2 hours, so we don't even want to hear about that experience. And that controller will only last for 417 hours. Hours, that's it. That's its lifetime.
And then it wears out.
Then it wears out. It has no frames per second boost mode. It has no DTSX. It has no VRR. It has no hardware real-time ray tracing. Has
an SSD that's literally twice as fast is ending up either tying in load times or being slightly worse.
Facts. It has no real next gen level machine learning. Has none of that. It has no quick resume. It has no well, it does have smart delivery, but limited. It's limited.
It's got activity cards.
Okay.
Yeah.
They can't. They wanted to make what is it? Crossplay. They wanted to make crossplay to look like it was something bad. They failed to that. They wanted to make sure that we're going to be straight generational company. Failed to that.
No RDNA 2.
Of course, no RDNA 2. So you do not qualify. You don't qualify to be called a next generational console. And the truths are coming out. You can't hide it anymore because the devs are being frustrated. But to my report, devs have been frustrated with Sony. PlayStation Plus has 46 million subscribers in a 10-year span. I'm calling for Game Pass to hit 40 million at the end of this year. At the end of this year. There's no comparison. Xbox is at its biggest in its history with revenue power. The Xbox Series S and Xbox Series X is at its height. Xbox is at its height. PlayStation ain't at its height. These are facts. Microsoft with Xbox is making its most money today. Today, not last gen, not the gen before, not the gen before. Right now. Right now, it's making its most money. And you know what's funny? It's doing it without its heavyweights. So imagine when the heavyweights hit.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine. You guys need y'all's heavyweights because what happened to Slash Record Returnal? What y'all do for it? What did you do with your 16th installment for Ratchet and Clank? What did you do for it? Y'all got nothing but excuses. Excuses for such pathetic hearsay, blasphemy, and hypocritical comments. You can talk a good game, but your pockets express another world. As a community, you want to always throw your punches on our community, but our community don't listen to Metacritic. We keep showing y'all over and over how to do this. We as a community, we stick together. We talk about our video games. We put up clips. We join each other on Xboxes. We play our games. We're happy, and y'all can't stand it. Just like the other lane the other day told us we need to wait till August the 12th. And then when nothing popped off, he reports that he's depressed. What you depressed about?
Because he's abandoned.
PlayStation. You're supposed to have the greatest console.
Oh, the word is so poetic. The name is so poetic.
You're supposed to have all these massive exclusives. So what are you depressed about? I thought it was us that was supposed to be depressed. We're over here gaming. Don't worry about the games that we don't have. Just know we're going to have more games than you. That's all you need to know about. And just know that when we talk next generational gaming, we're qualified. Yo, I'm the new legal. Shouts to Six Slayer, Eli the Realist, and the whole entire Xbox community and chat room. This has been the official update. Now, this is a real update. Real update video. This is a real update video. All right? A real one. I didn't have to come around here and play with y'all. I ain't playing with y'all. I'm not tickling y'all. I want y'all to know the business and want you to know that it was never fabricated. I wanted y'all to know the real, and I wanted to bring you down the years, all right? I wanted to let y'all know the years, and I wanted to bang it out, and I wanted to get out of here. I wanted to come in here, talk to my community, and close the door, and that's what I'm about to do. I thank each and every one of y'all for showing me and everybody else that comes up on here that makes Di-RRec Gaming what it is. As you can see, you don't need flashy. You don't need nothing flashy. This ain't Puff Daddy in 1996. This is DMX in the Rough Rider era. This is the streets. It ain't flashy. We don't need none of that. It's the content. The content and the character judgment of who's speaking. That's the essence and the spirit of gaming. It doesn't take all of that additional added preservatives for you to make an impact in these streets. Be real, find your resources, speak the truth, and hold the integrity of gaming at all costs. I'm going to say this one more time before I get off of here. I don't care where you game at. I don't care if you game on PC. I don't care if you game on Stadia. I don't care if you game on a mobile handheld. I don't care if you game in the arcades. I don't care if you game on PlayStation. I care if you play on Xbox. Why? Because that's where you will find my gamer tag at. The new legal, you're only going to find that on an Xbox. And that's the community that's always been good to me. And that's the community that I speak for. I don't worry about where you game. Wherever else you game, that's good. I clap for you. Keep gaming. Put those trophies out. Put that experience out. Show people you're having fun. That's all we want to see, because we're having fun. We're having fun. We want to see if you're having fun. It's not about me having fun and look over and you having fun and coming to knock you for having fun because you're not playing on Xbox. That's dumb stuff. We don't have time for that over here. But don't come over here bumping your gums, saying stuff that's not factual, and feel like you can't get corrected. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. If I see that you need corrected, I'm going to correct you. And that goes for me too. Because nobody stands approached to not be corrected. No.
We were talking about this last night. Yo, folks don't be getting checked. And, they're allowed to run rampant with their mouth.
Facts. What you worried about? Hurting your favorite YouTube's feelings? Yeah. You're afraid of hurting your YouTuber's feelings or something? We grown men. I thought we grown men out here. Community? I thought we're gamers out here. That's what gamers do. And if people take that personally, then that means they don't have a true gamer essence, spiritual component inside of them. They're not doing it for the essence of gaming. There's another agenda in their hearts, and we need to check them. We need to check that. We need to check that heart, because a true gamer is going to say, you know what, you're right. Thanks for correcting me. I stand corrected. That's what a true gamer does. He doesn't go out pouting and going on, crying because you corrected him, getting depressed. Oh, I got to take off from Twitter. I'm depressed. Well, stop fronting on yourself. There's not a future in your fronting. Stop being something you're not when you come up on social media. Be yourself, and you don't have to worry about getting depressed over gaming. This is gaming. This is what we do. This is gaming. I'm with a group that every day come out with memes every day. You might think that's garbage. You might think that's lame, but they're over there laughing. They're over there having fun, and I like to laugh. This is gaming. I like to, hey, it's not that serious. Some of these guys are all across the world doing it. They're having fun. They're not bothering nobody. Stay in your lane, and we'll stay in our lane. You don't see us jumping on your stuff, don't jump on our stuff. And then don't want to stand corrected when we check you. Because over here is the streets. And I don't know no streets where somebody jumps up on it, starts trying to represent it, and ain't from there. and they don't get checked. Yo, I'm the new legal. Thank y'all for coming out for Di-RRec Gaming. Remember, keep it gaming. Chase that one up in life. I appreciate all the support. Love each and every last one of y'all. Be safe out here. God bless.
Peace.
We're out. Peace.
Peace.